I mean, the Electoral College, it's the only thing worse than regular college. I mean, if Thomas Jefferson was alive, he would have two questions. One, Hamilton gets a musical before me? And two, we're still using that thing from 1787.
In our pop culture lead, look, it's been a rough week. We wanted to get in a lighter note. Legendary comedian Bill Maher is debuting his 13th HBO stand-up comedy special. This one's called Bill Maher. Is anyone else seeing this? So let's bring in the man himself, Bill Maher, also the host of Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. We should, of course, note CNN, HBO, both owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. Bill, congratulations on the special. So early on, you say that Trump, quote, got the White House again, but he isn't going to get your mind. There are probably a lot of viewers that want to hear what you mean by that and how you want to achieve that.
So I'm not going to chase every rabbit down the hole like I did the first term. You know, that's what I mean about he's not going to get my mind. He's a kooky guy who says a lot of kooky things, and I'm just not going to pre-hate anything. I'm just going to hope for the best, and then when something serious happens, I'll comment on that. Otherwise, I have new rules and monologue as a place in the show every week to talk about invading Greenland and annexing Canada and other stuff that's perfect for comedy, but I'm not going to take it seriously.
So I'm writing an election book, and one of the things I just stumbled on was a monologue you gave in October 2023. In which you warned the Democratic Party of Ruth Bader Biden. You were saying the American people think he's too old. You're worried about this. You had a great line about it doesn't matter if he's a national treasure and has done great things. If you got on an airplane and you heard that Buzz Aldrin was the pilot, you'd get off. I'm sorry for botching your very funny joke. But they didn't listen to you, but you were proven correct.
Yeah, and I felt I had standing to make that case because I had for so many years been the only person I know on television who was consistently railing against ageism. I have been saying for years, ageism is the last allowable prejudice that we can have in this country. You can always do the age jokes. You can always rail on people for being too old. And it was, as I said, a case-by-case basis. Some people at 70 act like they're 100 years old, and some people are like 40-year-olds. But this was a case, okay, where Biden was too old. Having made that case that it's a case-by-case basis, I was now saying, yes, some of those cases are that the person just is too old for the job. And he was going to be, much like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, someone who was seen in history as one who stayed at the fair too long and cost his party dearly. And he did. And, you know, I don't think history is going to treat Joe Biden kindly for doing that.
Donald Trump has spent a lot of time criticizing you. You told me a couple years ago on air that you were afraid of what Trump could theoretically do if he ever were returned to the White House. How do you feel now?
Yeah, it's possible. Do I think he's going to start arresting comedians? I don't, but it's possible. Look, anything's possible with this guy. I'll put it this way. When George Bush was in the White House, it never even entered my mind. Never entered my mind that I couldn't say whatever I wanted to say without repercussions. And that's one of the great things about living in America. And we take America for granted and that kind of stuff. And maybe we can't anymore. So we'll see. But am I going to let it affect what I do? No. I mean, the day I feel like I can't say what I want without going to Guantanamo Bay, I'll just leave.
I do want to ask you before you go, and congratulations again on the special, but there's talk promulgated by you about maybe you quitting the HBO show, about maybe not touring anymore. Well, you said something to Jane Fonda about thinking about that. Where are you in your career? You still got a lot of good stand-up, a lot of good jokes in you, right? Like, tell us what's next.
Okay. I am stopping doing stand-up just because I'm tired of touring, just because I've been doing it for 40 years. I love it. Look, I love nothing more than being on stage somewhere telling jokes to strangers. It's been my entire life. It's been the most consistent thing in my life. But for those people who say to me, why don't you just do it a little bit? You can't do it a little bit. Stand up is like being a boxer. You have to be in training. You can't just walk up there and do it. So I've been in training for 40 years. I need a break. And I'm tired of the travel. I'm tired of dragging my ass out of bed on Saturday morning to go to some place after I worked so hard on real time all week. Maybe I'll go back to it. But, you know, I have a podcast. I have a television show. I'm not retiring. And I don't know where this started about I'm getting rid of real time. They're going to have to drag me off of that show. What I was saying was that I didn't want to do another Trump term, not just because I don't think it's going to be possibly a great time for America, maybe, again, not going to pre-hate anything, but because I've already done all the jokes about Donald Trump. I don't know what else to say about the guy. But, of course, he will provide us with a lot of new material, and I'll get into it. But I was hoping that in the episodic television show that is America, I was hoping for some new characters, you know. But it's like they rebooted Matlock, but instead of getting Kathy Bates, they put Andy Griffith back in it.
Well, that's good news for those of us who are fans of Real Time with Bill Maher. Bill, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jake. Never miss you.
His new comedy special is called Bill Maher. Is anyone else seeing this? It debuts this evening on HBO and will be available streaming on Max.